Hi everyone, thank you for joining me for another video. I'm really glad that everyone seems to be enjoying the first one. Thank you so much to everyone who watched and commented and subscribed. I really appreciate it. Good to know I'm not just talking to myself. So today is always a fun one. We have a book haul. So I have many classics, and then I have a very exciting collector's edition box set. We're excited about that, but I'm going to save the best for last. So quick background about the classics that I have. So I've been trying to get more into classics for a while. I've been on a mission to collect a very specific edition of classics because I tried to track down, when I started reading some of these books, I wanted a version that was readable, for lack of a better word, because a lot of times classics, for some reason, come in very small print. And I'm wearing glasses already, so my eyesight is not the best. So I want something that is readable and good to take with you. I want to be able to read these at any time. So I finally settled on the Barnes & Noble edition. Signature Classics, I think is what they're called. But they are currently redoing this entire series into a different covers, a different look, totally different style. So I'm now on a mission to collect all the ones that I want to read in this style so that they can match, and my organization-loving brain will be satisfied because all of my classics will match. Yes. So in lieu of that, I've been making many thrift books orders to try to get all the ones I can in the old style before they're all changed, because all of the stores that I go to now, they don't have any of the old style left. They're just all the new style. So anyways, hopefully that explanation wasn't too long, and now we're going to dive right into all the classics that I got. So I have them in alphabetical order by author's last name. So the first two that I have are actually by the same author. So I have Robinson Crusoe by Daniel Defoe and Moll Flanders by Daniel Defoe. I tried to read Robinson Crusoe from the library. I thought it was very interesting, but it wasn't the right time and I didn't keep with it. But I'm glad that I have my own copy now. And then Moll Flanders, I'm going to give it a try. Next up, we have David Copperfield by Charles Dickens. I've never read any Charles Dickens novels, but this will now be my, I think, 5th or 6th book that I have by him, which stemmed from my desire to read A Christmas Carol, which I've been trying to read for 2 years now, and it's clearly going very well. But then I started looking into more about his other books. In particular, I was interested in Oliver Twist because I really liked the, I can't remember if it was a TV movie or a direct-to-video kind of thing, but there was a version of Oliver Twist that came out in either 1999 or 2000 with Elijah Wood that I really liked. I loved that as a kid and I watched it all the time. I don't know how true to the book it is, but I loved it as a kid. So that got me interested in other books of his, and like I said, I want to get all of them. I want to get anything that I even have a slight interest in because they're very affordable from thrift books. You know, these are all used, and that way they all match. So if I do want to read them, you know, you can see how this little guy, he fits right in with all his little friends. That way, if I do want to read it, I have it. I can read it. I like these copies. They handle well. They're really good. And then if I don't want to, I can just get rid of it, and no big deal because you're only out a little bit of money. So next up, I have Tom Jones by Henry Fielding, which this is bigger than I thought it was going to be. So I actually learned about this when I was trying to read another book that I have called On Reading Well by Karen Swallow Prior, which takes a look at different virtues that are highlighted in different books. I only started it, so I never finished the book. I think I put it on the first video that I did. I think it's somewhere in my TBR for June or July. That's my unsure voice. Somewhere in there. And the first book that she talks about is Tom Jones. So I don't know anything about it other than she was talking about it, and I couldn't really relate to anything that was going on because I'd never read the book. So I thought maybe I'd grab the book. That way, if I wanted to read it, I don't know that I'll actually read this before reading that one because this is big and I have a lot to read. How many pages is this? Oh yeah, this is like 700 pages. Oh yeah, this is not happening anytime soon. But eventually. So the next book that I have is not so much a book as a collection of documents. Founding America, Documents from the Revolution to the Bill of Rights. So shockingly, despite being American and growing up in America, we didn't ever really learn that much about the documents that built our country, so I don't even really know what the Declaration of Independence says or what the Constitution says. We really didn't learn any of that stuff, which is so strange when you think about it. I'm like, why was that not a thing that we were taught in public school? I really don't know. But yeah, so I thought I would give this a try. It looked very interesting. I bought a similar book for my dad, and he really likes it, but I got him a hardcover, nice looking version. This one is fine for me. All right, the next one that I have is one that I was very happy to find. I've been interested in this for a while now. This is The Life of Charlotte Brontë by Elizabeth Gaskell, and it is a biography of Charlotte Brontë by her friend Elizabeth Gaskell. Elizabeth Gaskell was also an author in her own right. She wrote North and South, Wives and Daughters, and many other things that I can't remember off the top of my head. So I think this will be really interesting. I look forward to learning more about Charlotte Brontë. Next we have The Federalist. So this is a series of 85 essays by 3 authors written to curry support for the proposed new Constitution of the United States, a document that many consider too radical. Yeah, so I was interested in these for a while. Ben Shapiro was, I don't know if he still does this now. I haven't watched in a while, but I know for a while he was doing a series where he was going through the Federalist Papers. Next up, we have Treasure Island by Robert Louis Stevenson. Yeah, should be a fun one. Pirates, adventure. I really like the animated version that Disney did, Treasure Planet. Love that movie. It was one of my favorites as a kid. So I wanted to give Treasure Island a try. Next one is Uncle Tom's Cabin by Harriet Beecher Stowe. And the last one is Adventures of Huckleberry Finn by Mark Twain. So I have read The Adventures of Tom Sawyer, and I did like it. I didn't love it, but I liked it. Now we come to the final part that hopefully you've been waiting for. I know I've been waiting for. I'm so excited. Is this beautiful? I'm trying to think of like the best angle to show you guys. Beautiful. Oh, curse the glare. There's always so much glare. Oh, sorry about the glare. Darn it, let's try that again. If I lean up, is there less glare? Okay. I'm gonna kind of have to point you down. But it is the collector's edition of the Shades of Magic series by V.E. Schwab. And they are so pretty. So very pretty. So let me take one out to show you because they're so good. Just take them all out. Who cares? Okay, so we have A Darker Shade of Magic, A Gathering of Shadows. This is the one I'm reading right now, and they come with the ribbon bookmarks. You see I have a couple sticky notes. I love ribbon bookmarks so much. They're so, I feel so fancy when I use them. I don't know why, but they feel fancy to me. And then A Conjuring of Light. I'm covering up the title, sorry. Yes. Oh my gosh. Love these so much. So I read, well actually listened to, the audiobook of A Darker Shade of Magic from the library. I borrowed it from the library in January. And I loved it, you guys. It was so good. I have not been blown away by a book like that in a very long time. Like the past few years, there's been books I've liked and I've loved, but you know that like page turning, I can't stop reading this book, I have to know what happens next, that feeling? I haven't had that in a while. And that is exactly what I had listening to A Darker Shade of Magic. Obviously not quite page turning because it was an audio, but you know, I could not stop listening to it. It was so good, so good. It's so immersive and surprising. You just never know what's gonna happen next. And it's hard to describe. It kind of reminds me of Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. I never finished that one because it was 1,000 pages. And I actually got rid of my copy, which I wish I hadn't, because this book makes me want to read that again. But there's something, I don't know, like British about it, and it's so, they're so matter-of-fact about magic. I don't even know if that's the right way to describe it. Magic is so commonplace. It's not even that though, it's like, they write magic like it's a part of everyday life. In a way that, I don't know, I just don't see American authors doing that, but it's so interesting to read. It's really gripping. I'm probably doing a crappy job of explaining it, but it's so good. So if you don't know about this series, since I have read the first book, I'll try to give you sort of a summary, a little bit, in my own awkward fashion. Basically, The story revolves around two characters mostly. Our first character is Kell, and Kell is a magician. He's a magic user, and he is a Antari, which means he's one of the most powerful magic users in the world. And what he does is he can travel between different, I'll call them realms. So there's different versions of London, and different versions have magic, some don't have magic, some are ruled in different ways. And so our world, or 1819 London, is called Grey London, and Kell is from Red London, and Red London has magic, and it just breathes through the whole city, really. And he meets Lila Bard, who is a pickpocket, and he meets her in Grey London, and they end up getting caught up in some crazy adventures, and all kinds of things happen, mixed in with another Antari that's around, but who's much more on the malicious side than Kell. And then there's also the two rulers of White London, who are evil, but a delight to read because they are just super evil. They're really good villains. Yeah, and all the adventures that happen, it's just so much fun, you guys. It really is. It's so much fun. I loved it so much. And it's one of those books that as soon as you read it, listen to it in my case, you can't wait to read it again. Like, I was sincerely debating whether or not I wanted to just read the book once I got it. Do I want to read the first one before I start the second one? But then I decided not to, and I started the second one. But I really want to reread this one again, especially because there was a lot of things that I'd like to underline that I couldn't do when I was listening to it, but there was some really good quotes, some really good scenes that I would love to note and come back to again. But yeah, so that was The Dark Shade of Magic. Highly recommend. But yeah, they're so pretty, and I'm reading A Gathering of Shadows right now. This one isn't quite as gripping as the first one, I will say. Still good, but it also has a very different tone. So A Darker Shade of Magic was very much fast-paced. You know, we were being chased, we were being hunted. It was kind of go, go, go constantly. Whereas this kind of starts out in more of a reflective period after all of the intensity of book one. I want to say going back to normal life, but they're sort of trying to figure out themselves, I guess, or figure out quite who they are after what happened in book one. But yeah, so I'm 200 pages in? Yeah, I think I'm 200 pages into this. And I do really like it. And I'm so glad that I splurged on the beautiful hardcovers. Actually, while I was reading these, it made me miss hardcovers, and I realized how long it's been since I've actually read a hardcover fiction book. And I'm reading these thinking, I really like hardcovers. I was always a paperback person, but these are making me want to get all my books in hardcover. They do. It's making me want to. Oh, so pretty. Okay. Alright, that has been today's video. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me again, spending this time talking about books. If you have any questions or you just want to say hi, please leave a comment, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!